With his 1-2 record, his ERA of 4.50. Craig Counsell leads it off. First time up in this series, and he takes the fastball for ball one. Counsell, a .324 hitter with 1 homer, has driven in 7 so far this season. Been a very good man at reaching base with a .413 on base average. And he looks at that one down and in for a 2-ball no strike count with J.J. Hardy on deck. Counsell, a veteran, has played well at both second and third. He can play short as well, so probably second base in the mix for him quite a bit this season. With Bill Hall sharing playing time now at third base with Matt Gamble.
Gee.
3-0 as he takes 3 heaters.
Man, I guess you got to throw it down the middle.
Delphine Colon is the home plate umpire, and he is still bent over after that last call. He didn't even straighten up. Now time call by Counsell. Milwaukee won Tuesday night 4-2. Houston countered with a 6-4 win last night. And there's a strike. That makes it 3-1 for Roy Oswalt, who has been sensational in his home ballpark over the course of his career with a 73-23 record. Bounced, and on 2 hops it goes to second base. Jeff Keppinger takes care of out number 1. Good comeback for Roy Oswalt. And he's establishing the fastball, which is his modus operandi. J.J. Hardy comes to the plate. Hardy, a .230 hitter with 5 homers, has driven in 23 with a .316 on base percentage. Hardy's 3 for 8 with 2 runs batted in this series. Brewers have won 21 of their last 27. That strike one call.
I give.
Strike zone seems to be changing from number 1 to number 2 hitter tonight. Oswalt in his career has a .760 winning percentage in this ballpark with a 2.72 ERA. Both the winning percentage and the ERA the best among active pitchers in home games. No balls, 2 strikes to J.J. Hardy.
And comes off the fastball and throws a slider and feathers it in there down around the knees. Fastball, curveball, slider change for Roy. Fastball work from 92 to 95 miles an hour. Right now struggling a little bit with the command.
One ball and 2 strikes with Ryan Braun on deck. Tejada to his left, gets up, throws off balance on 1 bounce to Berkman, who digs it out. Spectacular for out number 2.
And Mickey, we've seen him make this play a lot, moving to his left, going down, and then quickly up to his feet and off balance, flips it across the diamond. On line, a little bit short of target, but the Puma with the pick to save the day.
Looked like a hit as it got out around Tejada, but then he was able to leave his feet and get up and make the throw so Berkman could make a play for him. Now 2 outs on grounders, and it's Ryan Braun. .321 batting average, 8 homers, 29 runs batted in for Braun, and a .446 on base percentage. That's 4th best in the National League. Ball 1 to Braun. Very quick bat. Ryan Braun can really turn on some of the best fastballs in the major leagues. Takes that one, and it's 2-0 to Ryan. He's 1 for 6 with a couple of walks in this series. Prince Fielder on deck.
And he's cooled off a little bit in the last week or so. But such a dangerous hitter.
2-1 to Ryan. Silver Slugger winner last year with 37 homers, 106 runs batted in, and he's 25 years old.
That Silver Slugger award, they give it to the best hitter at each position. Do they pick 3 outfielders?
Yes.
Or do they go left, center, right?
They just pick 3
Any
outfielders.
3 outfielders.
Yeah. Foul away, and that's the same with Gold Gloves. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fox Sports Houston has a Twitter page. We're tweeting right now. Sign on for additional information and insight at twitter.com/FS Houston.
What's going on there? Little antenna. Be getting some out-of-town radio.
We used to see a lot of those with the Killer Bees in the lineup. Fly ball toward the right field line. Hunter Pence breaking over, and on the dead run he slides and can't make the play. It bounces and he retrieves it. Now here's Braun churning for third base, and he'll check in with a stand-up 3-base hit, his first triple of the year. Good effort by Hunter Pence, who had a long run, then tried the sliding catch, and Braun winds up at third.
Looked like Hunter was going to get there, and then I think considering the wall closing in on him, he opted to slide and try to catch this ball for fear that if he tried to catch it on the run, he might smash into that wall and not be able to hang on. But having that second look at it, it looked like he had a little more room than perhaps he realized. It's a tough read for an outfielder to make, and off a right-handed batter, his swing, that ball's going to be slicing away from him.
Yeah, and he did have that lengthy run, so sometimes it's tough to judge when you've been running that far, how close you are to the wall. Prince Fielder 4 for 28 in his career against Roy. Comes up with a runner at third and 2 outs. That's strike one on the inside edge to Fielder, who is tied for the league lead in runs batted in with 37. He has 9 homers and a .272 average. Driven in 1 run in this series, going 2 for 7. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Roy's last effort at Chicago on Saturday brought him a no decision. He's been getting a lot of those this year. Only 3 decisions in his first 9 starts.
He's usually so decisive.
He is.
This year he's been waffling.
Fielder over third base. Tough play here, and off the glove in foul ground of Jeff Blum. Otherwise, a run scores. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But the ball was just foul as Jeff was on the run.
Yeah, it's not like football. The foul line doesn't matter. It's not like the sideline in football. It's just play like that's just where the fielder touches it. Obviously in foul territory.
2 knees equal 1. No, never mind. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a foul tip finishes the first inning. No runs ahead. Runner stranded at third base. No score. Milwaukee nothing. Houston coming up at the bottom of the first here at Minute Maid Park, where the Astros are 9 and 11. Here is their starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's Michael Bourne leading off in center field. Jeff Keppinger batting second at second base. Lance Berkman is the 3-hole hitter at first base, with Carlos Lee the cleanup man in left field. It's Hunter Pence in right field. Miguel Tejada at shortstop. Jeff Blum is the third baseman. Pudge Rodriguez the catcher batting eighth. Roy Oswalt is the Houston pitcher. Veteran right-hander Jeff Suppan, 34 years of age, works to Michael Bourne. Michael hits it in the air, and fans are getting up. Left field foul area, and there is strike one. to the league leader in steals. Michael Bourne has 13 of those, hitting .297. He has 1 homer and 10 runs batted in. Suppan takes a little off, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He's coming off a beautiful game. 1-0 win over St. Louis. Suppan's 3-3 this season.
Well, that fits. He was 10-10 last year with the Brewers. The year before, he was 12-12. And there's the breakdown this season. 8 starts for the veteran, 4.63 ERA. Not an overpowering guy. Good off-speed pitch there. It's all about command and using his all the wisdom he has acquired over the years. Came up with Boston back in 1995. Just a good, heady veteran pitcher.
Bourne hits another foul ball out of play. Jeff Suppan beat his former club, the Cardinals, on Saturday 1-0 with 7 innings of 6-hit shutout ball. Against the Astros, he's 2-7 with a 5.28.
Astros have seen a lot of him over the years. His time in Pittsburgh and St. Louis and now Milwaukee.
And he gets some downward action and a strikeout of Michael Bourne.
Good change up there to finish Michael Bourne. He used that pitch effectively against the left-handed hitters. He's got your 4 basic pitches: fastball, curve, slider. Change defensively for the Brewers tonight. Brought to you by BMW. It's Braun, Cameron, and Hart in the outfield. Hall Hardy, counsel infielder, across the infield, and Jason Kendall does the catching.
Jeff Keppinger's in the lineup at second base, giving Kazuo Matsui a night off. There's strike 1 to Keppinger. 321 for Jeff. 1 homer, 3 runs batted in. Excellent numbers for the playing time he's had. 400 on base average, 491 slugging. Suppan works it outside, and it's 1-1. Suppan has been among the most durable pitchers in the major leagues. He's had 10 straight years of making at least 30 starts. This is start number 9 of this season for him. Hardy to a stretching fielder. 2 outs.
Yeah, and imagine if the scouts are having a meeting of some club and they say, "Hey, find me a good, dependable starting pitcher," and they say, like Jeff Suppan, a guy like that. I mean, he gets you close to 200 innings every year, double digits wins just about every year. He's not going to light up the radar gun. His career ERA is nothing to get overly worked up about at 4.63, but year in and year out, just provides quality, solid work for his club.
Now he pitches to Lance Berkman. A strike 1 inside to Berkman, a .228 hitter with 8 homers, 22 runs batted in. He's 3rd in walks in the National League with 29.
If you're looking for your pick to click tonight, take a look at Lance at 412 lifetime against Suppan. And then Jeff Blum, 14 out of 26, a .538 batting average.
Banged off his foot. 1-2 to Lance. Lance 1 for 16 against Milwaukee pitching this season. Lance just ended a road trip with a .474 batting average, going 9 for 19. He's 1 for 5 on this homestand with an RBI, and there's the glittering picture for him. .412 lifetime with 3 homers against Suppan. Up the middle, but Hardy's there behind Suppan to gun him out. And it's a 1-2-3 first for the sinker baller from Milwaukee, and no score.
As we head to the second, we have a new sponsor for Astros baseball here on Fox Sports Houston. It is the Brown Hand Center. Dr. Michael Brown and his lovely wife Rachel joining us now. Dr. Brown, nice to have you as part of our coverage.
Well, thank you very much. It's a beautiful day. As you can see, my family enjoys coming out to watch the Houston Astros, and we're really happy today to have 400 guests at Brown Hand Center here at the ballpark to help support the Astros as they take on the Brewers.
Well, that's great, and you and your son got to go out and throw out a first pitch today also.
That was a thrill of a lifetime. You know, he's only 2, and I think he did a great job.
I think he did too. Well, Dr. Brown, again, thanks for joining our team here as we cover Astros baseball. And Brownie, as we toss it back to you, I can tell you right now, hand doctor, wicked knuckleball.
Oh, we've got to see that in action. Thank you, Bart. Nice to have them with us tonight. Mike Cameron's the batter. Fouls that one away. Still no balls, 2 strikes to Cameron. Cameron went deep last night, going 2 for 4, and now he's on the verge of a milestone. He needs one more home run to join the 250-250 club. 282 this season, 8 homers, 21 runs batted in. Very high on base percentage of .392. He has 249 homers and he has 291 steals. He will be the 20th player to join that select club in baseball history when he hits one more homer. Broken bat. It goes on one bounce out to Keppinger. 1 out for Roy Oswalt. And Corey Hart will be next.
He just joined the select club of hitters who've had their thumbs busted by a Roy Oswalt fastball.
He needs to go to the Brown Hand Center. 1 out, and Corey Hart, a .240 hitter with 4 homers, has driven in 17. He's 1 for 9 in this series. Inside, ball 1.
I think Roy making it a point to establish hard in early in this game.
He really is making that an objective.
Yeah. Pumping that heater in there. And this the Brewers right now a little bit vulnerable, much like the Cubs have been in recent years, in that they have so many right-handed bats. They're a little right-handed heavy.
Flipped into right field, a looping single by Corey Hart. Hart has been on the downturn lately. Gives him 2 for 10 in this series.
The Lone Star Series takes place this weekend with the Texas Rangers in town. Tomorrow night, first 10,000 fans will receive a Lone Star Series cap. That's courtesy of Farmers Insurance. We've got fireworks after the game presented by Marathon Oil. Saturday, post-game concert by Reckless Kelly. So all kinds of good things going on with the Rangers in town this weekend.
Bill Hall's the batter. There's strike 1 to Hall. 248 for Hall. 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. He is 1 for 9 in this series. Had a particularly rough night last night, striking out 4 times in an 0 for 5 evening. He's on a mission to prove to his manager that he should stay in the lineup against right-handed pitching. Ken Maka has promised him extensive opportunities, but the clock may be running out on those opportunities for Bill Hall to prove he can hit right-handers this year.
Well, it's been a good time to be a struggling Brewer right now because so many of them are swinging it well and they're doing a lot of winning. Astros just broke a 7-game Brewer win streak last night. They're 25-15, tying their best ever record through 40 ball games. That buys time for a hitter who's struggling a little bit.
Sure does.
You're struggling and your club is losing. The manager's more inclined to pull the trigger and try somebody else. And the Gamble kid, the young left-handed hitter, can really swing it, but defensively, he, from what I've been told, is a little bit of a suspect proposition.
He was called up primarily, Gamble, to be a DH this weekend when the Brewers are at Minnesota in interleague play. In the air foul.
But if I'm the Brewers, at some point I got to start thinking about giving him some shots because I think the week's injury changes that whole dynamic. And if Craig Counsell becomes the guy who gets the bulk of the playing time at second, and Billy Hall struggles against right-handed pitching, Gamble, to me, it probably becomes worth the risk to give him some at bats down there at third base and see what he can do. And that'll make up for some of that power you're losing with Ricky Weeks being out.
Hall is hit 190 in 79 at bats against right-handers this season with 2 homers.
Yeah, and he's Ted Williams against lefties. He's hitting better than 400. It's just a crazy split.
This matchup, though, might work pretty well for Ken Maka because Hall in his career has 14 hits and 41 at bats against Roy Oswalt, including a home run. And the Brewers are 4th in the league in runs scored. Curveball dazzles Hall, and that's a pitch that is being worked in more and more by Roy Oswalt in recent starts. Second strikeout.
Yeah, Hall vulnerable to the off-speed breaking pitch. I've seen him struggle with it a lot over the years, and this is just a dandy here. Hard to stay back on that when the guy's throwing 95. You see him try. He gets a weight out on the front foot. You see him telling himself, stay back, stay back. Just can't hang on any longer.
Jason Kendall, the batter. Strike one to Kendall, a .228 hitter with no homers, 14 runs batted in. He has excellent career numbers against Oswalt, .390, 16 for 41. Just got his 2,000th career hit. Another inside pitch makes it 1-1. Roy's carefully worked to establish that fastball inside, as JD pointed out. That helped him set up the curve to Hall. Pitcher Jeff Supine on deck on a gorgeous evening. Foul ball makes it 1-2. Kendall joining select company with hit number 2,000 off Kyle Loesch in St. Louis 3 days ago. 8th all time in hits among those who have caught at least 1,000 games. Supposed to be getting a little bit warmer over the weekend. Not sure if that roof will remain open tomorrow night or not, but it certainly has been pleasant.
Yeah, I think our fun, our good run is over.
Hunter Pence over the line in right, and the second inning is over for the Brewers offensively with no runs a hit and a man stranded, no score.
The Astros are celebrating their 10 glorious years in Minute Maid Park. Help us pick the top moment in the park's history with our bracket challenge. You can do it at Astros.com. This week you're going to vote between Craig Biggio's farewell and the 2004 wild card clinching jump up and down Raul Chavez Orlando Palmeiro sighting.
Ooh.
Chamo's back in the big leagues, I think.
Yeah, he's with the Blue Jays now. Carlos Lee in a 0-0 game leads off the home second inning against Jeff Supine.
Orlando Palmeiro is probably catching fish somewhere, I would guess. Somewhere in the Florida Keys. Or...
Well, we might see him in August when we go to Miami.
No chance.
He won't take a break from his fishing?
He's done. He's put in his time. He's played 100 years in the big leagues. He's just going to hang out, play with his kids, and catch fish.
Can't blame him. 2 balls, no strikes on the appeal to Mike Riley, the crew chief, umpiring at first base. Carlos, a .322 hitter. Smacks a line drive, but it goes foul. 2-1. Suppan got that pitch up. Slider that flattened out a little bit for him. He spent some time on the DL last year with a right elbow issue, but not much. He made 31 starts, worked 177 innings.
He goes to the post.
2-2. There's a lot to be said for that.
Stay with it. Nice play. A little basket catch.
Hunter Pence on deck. Miggy Tejada due up third in the Astros' second inning. Line shot into center field. That pitch right in Carlos's wheelhouse, and he becomes the first Astro base runner tonight.
Yeah, Suppan fastball 86 to 88 miles an hour here tonight, so he's got to be real precise with it. Can't afford to elevate it and leave it over the middle very often. It's a fine line you have to walk as a finesse pitcher. You don't want to just nibble and be behind all the time. You have to take your shots when you're going to challenge. And one of the reasons Suppan has been so durable over the years is just look at his delivery. Real nice mechanics, very fluid, smooth.
Hunter Pence is waiting for one of those deliveries. And it's ball one to Hunter, a .343 hitter, the 8th best batting average in the National League. 4 homers, 17 runs batted in, a .416 on base percentage for Hunter Pence. He's had a very good series. 5 hits, 2 runs batted in. Had a 2-run triple last night. Hitting .419 in May, 3rd best average in the majors for this month. Suppan goes with a curve and evens the count at 1-1. The Astros 12-8 in their last 20 games. They're 2 games under 500. David Wright has the highest batting average this month. And it's Ryan Zimmerman. Hunter Pence is 3rd. Carlos Lee is 5th.
Juan Pierre stepping in for Manny Ramirez. They're calling it Mannywood out there. I don't know what they're calling it now. Juan Pierre.
What would you suggest for that?
I don't know.
2 balls and a strike to Hunter Pence. We'll be thinking about that for the next 7 innings now.
That really rolls off the tongue. Pierreville doesn't quite get it done.
No. Hunter takes it. It's ball 3-1.
Can you think of a more disparate, between the two guys, with Manny and that personality and his approach to the game? Devil may care, what me worry, and Juan Pierre just his ultimate grinder, a singles hitter. Manny has always kind of created headaches wherever he's gone, and Pierre just such a solid pro.
Yeah. Phil Boudreau is suggesting Chateau de Pierre. Put a little French Alps top on the section of stands in left field. Have a yodeler out there. That might work in L.A. Just about anything might work in L.A. Fly ball deep center field. Mike Cameron will not catch up with this one. Way back. That's a blast for Hunter Pence. A 2-run bomb. Monumental swing of the bat for Hunter Pence. Home run number 5 and a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, that's where the big boys go. You don't see many hit out at Minute Maid Park and that part of the ballpark. He hit that triple last night to center field on a ball that looked like it might have got in a little bit. And so if you're contemplating, well, what would happen if he got all of it? Well, here's your answer. When he gets all of it, no part of the park can hold him. And I just want to go on the record as saying that I didn't go on the record, but I thought for sure he was going to go deep tonight.
Miguel Tejada, the batter. Strike one on the breaking ball to Miggy. He has 50 hits. Hunter Pence just blasted that one, giving him 5 homers, 19 runs batted in now. And it's 2-0 Houston. Tejada lines one foul. Let's take a look at Tejada in the field, brought to you by the Home Depot. Doing more on defense. Here's his defensive excellence. Off balance throw. Lance Berkman with a play on J.J. Hardy in the first. Next pitch is up, and it's 1-2 to Miggy. With 50 hits, he ranks 7th in the league. Excellent numbers for Tejada to this point of the season. And an excellent first half last year as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Blum on deck. First 115 at bats, no homers since May 7th, and 40 at bats, 3 homers, 15 runs batted in. And that's with a .425 batting average his last 11 games. It's 3-2. The Brewers have needed only 5 different starting pitchers all season, and they've done well as a group. Ken Maka's club has gotten 17 wins from the starting pitchers, 11 losses, and a .412 ERA. They lead the majors in quality starts with 25. When they get a quality start, their record is 19-6. Brewers 3-2 here at Houston this season. That one will pop up on the right side. Reds fielder underneath. 1 out. Suppan has surrendered 8 long balls this season, including the Hunter Pence blast. Jeff Blum, a .250 hitter with no homers, 12 runs batted in. 167 for the month of May. He is 0 for 8 on this homestand. But Rodriguez on deck. But JD talked about those phenomenal numbers. 14 for 26 in his career against this right-hander, with 2 homers, 9 runs batted in for Jeff. So that would mandate Blum being in the starting lineup, and he takes ball 1.
Yeah, Jeff got up to a real nice start this year, but lately the batting average coming down. He hasn't really found the power stroke yet. Hasn't got deep yet this year. Has 5 doubles.
One ball and 1 strike. The Astros have their best winning percentage against Milwaukee of any opponent. .575 winning percentage. 2 balls and strike. Their next opponent, the Texas Rangers, starting tomorrow night. The battle for the Silver Boot begins with the first of 6 games between the 2 clubs.
Yeah, and they've been cooled off. They were just swept in a 3-game set by the Detroit Tigers. Detroit winning 4-3 this afternoon.
Tigers really threw some outstanding pitching at the Rangers, sweeping that 3-game set. Edwin Jackson today, he was throwing hard late in the game. 3-2. They drew Justin Verlander last night, and he pitched a whale of a game. The Rangers have switched their starters for tomorrow night. Vicente Padilla will not be starting, as announced previously. It'll be Derek Holland. There's a walk to Jeff Blum. First walk for Suppan, and Pudge Rodriguez followed.
And we talked about those numbers that Blum has off Suppan, and certain hitters will just see the ball well off certain pitches. You could just tell the way he was taking those pitches. And it was almost like he knew what was coming.
Suppan very good at getting a double play ball. Pudge Rodriguez has other ideas. .267 average, 5 homers, 19 runs batted in. Dave Clark is taking over the interim hitting coach duties in the absence of Sean Barry. Was talking about Pudge and how effective he can be in driving the ball to right center field. Mike Cameron is certainly shading him there right now. Pudge 6 for 17 in his career with a couple of runs batted in against this pitcher. Foul back, strike 1. Got an inside scoop for you.
All right, what do you got?
Well, there's going to be a special presentation sometime here this weekend to Pudge involving that baseball that he hit for a home run in Chicago.
Number 300?
Number 300. Ripped into left field. Single for Pudge. Blum to second base, and the Astros keep the inning alive for Roy Oswalt with 2 on and 1 out. First hit of the series for Pudge, who had been 0 for 8. Oswalt, looking down at his third base coach, Dave Clark, would be expected to bunt in this situation. He has 3 sacrifices, 2 hits, and 16 at bats.
I'm Butcher Boy in here.
Are you? Why not?
There's already 1 out.
Yeah. You lead 2-0. Roy has looked good on the mound. You could play for a big inning. You got Prince Fielder in on the grass, Bill Hall on the grass. So if you're Butcher Boying, you hope that Roy can bounce one over one of those guys somewhere in a hole.
And when I mean Butcher Boy, I mean square around, then pull the bat back and go ahead and try to slash it by. Look at Prince charging like that.
Foul ball.
Let's go ahead and take a whack at it. Especially with a guy like Suppan, he's not a guy who's going to blow you away out there. You feel pretty comfortable. You can make some contact. You got Tim Lincecum on the mound, and I'm thinking, well, just do anything you can to get a bunt down.
Mike Hampton will be able to make his scheduled start on Sunday. His thumb will be fine by Sunday, and he'll face Brandon McCarthy of the Rangers. That's a 105 start. Finale of the homestand. Bunted. Suppan hurries. And he'll throw to first base. And the sacrifice moves Blum to third, Rodriguez to second on the 1-4 play.
Roy, he's always been a good bunter. Count on him to get the bunt down when asked. So now it falls to Michael Bourne to drive in these 2 runs.
He's been good at that this year. Michael struck out in the first inning, but has been delivering with men in scoring position at a very high rate this season. .295 his overall batting average. With men in scoring position, .433. Ball 1 from Suppan. And with 2 outs and men in scoring position, 5 for 13. He's 4th in the league with that runners in scoring position batting average this year. And it's 2-0 as he works the count to that favorable side with Keppinger on deck. Blum at third, Rodriguez at second. And the Astros can really give Oswalt some working room if Bourne comes through here. Now it's 3-0.
Yeah, Suppan with the base open didn't want to give in and just throw a 2-0 cookie. Going to continue to pitch Michael real tough here. Just try to stay on the edges, and if he loses them, he'll start fresh with Keppinger.
Michael Bourne's 8th game as a leadoff man for the Astros. And he has a walk. Load the bases, second walk. Keppinger bats. Keppinger grounded at shortstop in the first inning. His last start came at Colorado in the 3rd game of the series there. 13 for 23 in his career with the bases loaded, .565. This has been a 30-pitch inning so far for Jeff Suppan. Keppinger, the 8th Astro to bat. He takes strike 1. Cecil Cooper talked about the Astros record at home before the game tonight. He was asked about their 9-11 record. He said, well, obviously we'd like to see things turn around quickly in that area. 1-1 now, and also in the division, the 9-16 record in the National League Central for the Astros. Astros have won 2 series at home. Beat the Dodgers 2 of 3, and they swept San Diego here. It's 2-1. They've played pretty well on the road, 9-9. Well, if they can get things rolling on this homestand, they would feel a lot better about the overall picture headed into Cincinnati after the Sunday game. Brewers haven't lost a series in a while. They haven't lost any of their last 9, in fact, winning 7 and splitting 2. Gappinger on appeal to first base is called for swinging, and that's a surprise to the fans here from Mike Riley. 2-2.
Gappinger, a guy who doesn't really bother him a whole lot. He doesn't change his approach. He has kind of a two-strike approach throughout his at-bats. He's not a real aggressive swinger. He rarely gets fooled like this. Mike Riley, the crew chief, has been at it for a long time.
Long time is right. He was the umpire the last time the Brewers batted out of order back in the Robin Yount days. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gappinger. Grounded foul. Gappinger, tough man to finish off. He really battles with 2 strikes. It's a short enough stroke that he's hard to beat on a swing and miss type basis. Brewers with a 2-game lead in the NL Central as play began today. Line shot left field. Ryan Braun back, and he makes the grab. The Astros settle for 2 runs on 3 hits. They strand 3. Gappinger hit it hard, but the score stays 2-0 Houston on the home run by Hunter Pence. Third inning underway. Roy Oswalt just delivering ball 1 to Jeff Suppan. Suppan is 2 for 13 as a batter. Now it's a 1 ball 1 strike count with the Astros leading it 2-0. Suppan has 1 career homer. He's driven in 19 runs in his lengthy career. It's 1-2 for Roy, shooting for win number 2 of the season. Strikeout looking. That's number 3 of the night. Coming up later in our Dodge Grab Life feature, Carlos Lee discloses what he carries around in his pockets. Stay tuned. Craig Counsell, the batter. Counsell grounded out in the first inning after working his way in front in the count 3-0. He hit the 3-1 pitch for the ground ball. Oswald creates some good movement there on that changeup for strike one.
Yeah, doing a nice job of mixing in all his pitches. Using the slider and flipped a couple curveballs up there. Featuring some off-speed offerings now to Counsell.
Counsell has started 8 games at third, 4 at short. This is his third start at second base. And without Ricky Weeks, that could have quite an effect, but Counsell, the type of player who can fill in quite capably. The only concern the Brewers might have about him is his age and how often they can play him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They get a kid in AAA, Escobar, shortstop, that can flat out play and can really pick it. And now they're moving him over to second base. He's going to play some second base at AAA, so that may be plan B.
Well, the Brewers have stayed in-house for many of their players, as you know. And Doug Melvin, their general manager, who's here, said he has been contacted by the agent for Ray Durham. Ray not playing with a major league organization right now, but he didn't have any interest in Ray. And he said he really isn't thinking about making a deal at second base. Strike 3. Strikeout number 4.
Last start against the Cubs, Roy punched out 7 in 6 innings. He didn't walk a batter. Off to a great start here tonight. That 2-seam fastball. After starting him with a couple off-speed pitches, goes back to the heater to finish him off.
J.J. Hardy. Miguel Tejada making that terrific play on him in the first inning. Looks at strike 1 here in the third. Oswald here against Milwaukee, 8-2 with a 2.22 ERA. The curveball comes in, and it's 0-2. And Roy, facing the Brewers for the first time this year, won both of his starts against them, and both were at Houston last year. Swing and a miss, and a breaking ball in the dirt. Struck him out, struck out the side. That's 5 strikeouts tonight for the Wizard. He leads it 2-0 after 2.5. Brought to you by Aflac, by your Texas Ford dealers, by Steel, by Reliant Energy, and by Southwest Airlines. Gorgeous night in Houston, Texas. We've had that kind of weather all week. Good night to have the family out. Little girl with a pink top and a pink cap on.
She must have been here for Pink in the Park weekend.
She must have been. And she's back, enjoying the evening. And these Astros fans have watched Hunter Pence rip a long 2-run homer in the second inning off Jeff Suppan to build a 2-0 lead. Now it's Berkman Lee and Pence to bat in the home third. grounding to shortstop in the first inning. In the dirt, ball one. Adam LaRoche hit a 2-run shot, his 7th home run of the year. Pirates lead the Nationals at Washington 4-3 at the end of 7. Ian Snell went 6. Craig Stammen, the starter for the Nationals, he went 6 1/3. It's 2-0. Looking forward to seeing the young lefty Derek Holland tomorrow night for the Rangers. That'll be his first major league start. He's been pitching in relief. Read a lot of good things about his arm. The bat takes off into the seats. It's 2-1.
That's a good fan there. He's offering to give it back.
Yes, he is.
They're disgruntled when they have to give it back.
He needs to keep it. Now he's bringing it down to the bat boy. He's willing to swap it out for another. He'll get a bat. 2 balls and a strike to Berkman. It's 3-1.
You know, if you were at work and somebody dropped their stapler on the ground and you picked it up, you wouldn't get to keep it.
No.
You give it back to them. It's a tool. It's what you go to work with.
That's a walk. That's number 3 for Suppan.
Well, the Rangers are in town. It's for the Lone Star Series. Sunday, it's a 105 game. And the first 10,000 fans will receive a Lone Star Series t-shirt. That's courtesy of Cons. 1-877-9-ASTROS would be the phone number, or you can log on to astros.com.
It's t-shirt weather. It's a good-looking t-shirt. Carlos Lee ripped a single to center field and rode home on the 2-run homer by Hunter Pence in the 2nd inning. The latest on Jose Valverde is that he's gone to see a doctor in Miami who has confirmed the Astros doctor's diagnosis for the calf strain, and he's thought to be 2 or 2.5 weeks away from returning to the Astros. Jeff Geary's doing some throwing. Doug Brocail's been around. He's walking around much better after an injection in his hamstring area. Center field, but Cameron's there. 1 out. Now Hunter Pence. He ripped a 3-1 pitch just to the right of that 404 sign. Very hard hit 2-run homer back in the 2nd inning. Hunter is one of 6 regular players on the Astros to hit .308 or better for the month of May. And the Astros team average for May is .292. He takes ball 1. Yankees are whipping the Orioles 7-1 in the top of the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium. Adam Eaton has taken a beating. Well, there's the bat. So he exchanged the Berkman bat for another one. Jabba Chamberlain lasted 2/3 of an inning tonight, giving up 2 hits and no runs.
Sounds like a blowout.
Yes, it does. Hardy tossing and counsel the middleman on a 6-4-3 double play to end the 3rd. After 3, 2-0 Astros. Our league leaders are brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, showing you the AL West standings with the Rangers coming in tomorrow night. They're 23-17, 2.5 better than the Angels, 4.5 better than the Mariners, and 7 in front of the Oakland Athletics. Very fine start for the Rangers through their first 40 games. Ryan Braun tripled and was stranded at third in the first inning. A looping fly ball hit to right center field here for Braun, and he's 2 for 2 off Oswalt tonight. And 5 for 10 in his career off Roy. The Astros 11-13 against the Rangers since they began playing in 05, and the Rangers have really hit well. They've scored, and 45 homers to 15 for the Astros.
They had 19 of those home runs in one game up in Arlington.
19?
12 of them off Ezekiel Estacio.
It seemed like that. Prince Fielder fouls it back. Strike one.
It's hyperbole, folks.
Yeah. But some people might think, no, I saw that many in that game.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
Zeke probably felt like twice that many.
Yeah. Jabba Chamberlain was hit by a line drive. Hit by Adam Jones on his right leg. Taken out of the game. Fielder struck out in the first inning. Towering pop. Tejada waiting. 1 out. Roy now mixing in the curveball more frequently. Aflac trivia time. Name the 2 Brewers who are second behind Cecil Cooper on the Brewers single season RBI list.
Coop drove him 126. Is that the number?
Sounds right.
I think that's a franchise record.
We're going to go with Robin Yount and Paul Molitor. How about Gorman Thomas?
Gorman Thomas.
Thomas, yeah. All are incorrect, we're told. Mike Cameron smacks one into center field. Braun to second base. First and second, 1 out now for Corey Hart.
How about Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun?
Ooh.
How about John Jaha?
John Jaha.
How about Jeremy Burnitz?
That's a good guess.
How about that guy that dresses up like a sausage and runs around the infield? How about Uke?
We're getting no response, so just keep throwing names out there, JD. You have named the correct answer. We need another one, though. You name one of them. Corey Hart single to right field in the second inning. Strike one to the angular outfielder. With those long arms, he can hit the pitch away very well. Sal Bando.
Well, I know, speaking of long arms, how about Richie Sexton? He had some big years.
Yeah. Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
Harry Doyle.
It's going to be another one of those movies in the offing for Harry Doyle and Bob Uecker. No balls, 2 strikes. Bob really looking sharp tonight. Brewers are traveling.
Yeah, Uke's got it going on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
How much hardware is Uke wearing? He's got like 7 rings on.
Yes, he does. Not sure what they. Well, he had the Cardinals in the World Series in '64, so he might have his World Series ring on. Maybe he got a Hall of Fame ring for winning the Ford Frick Award. And then we'll have to check back. Shot into left field for a hit. Braun is stopped at third base, and the bases are loaded on the single by Hart on the 0-2 count. And Bill Hall will bat next.
Well, this is kind of reminiscent of Roy's last start against Chicago. Actually, it's reminiscent of a number of starts he's had this year where he's sailing along nicely, and all of a sudden a big opportunity or big inning jumps up and bites him. In Chicago, last time out, he struck out the side in the 5th before surrendering 3 runs in the 6th. And he just punched out the side in the 3rd here. Now he's faced with a bases loaded situation.
And Bill Hall struck out in the 2nd inning. As the Brewers come storming back, they have 5 hits now. Hall has switched positions 3 years in a row. He's shortstop in 06, center fielder in 07, third baseman last year, now staying at third. And strike one to Hall, but last year not a good year for him offensively. So he's anxious to reestablish that he is better than a .225 hitter. Had 15 homers, 55 runs batted in last year. Roy has allowed 3 grand slams, including one this year to Albert Pujols. No balls, 2 strikes.
And Hall really struggling, and you can just see it there. A late commitment and a bad hack at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Just stay away from the big mistake, and you should be able to finish off Billy Hall the way he's swinging it right now.
Jason Kendall's on deck. In the dirt, and the runners can't advance as it's blocked by Pudge. 1-2. Roy won his last home start, beating San Diego on May 10th with a lot of offense. 12-5. He gave up 4 runs in 6 innings in that one. Gave up 2 home runs in that game. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bill Hall. Robinson Cano hit his 8th home run for the Yankees. And Hideki Matsui, number 5. Woo, upstairs. 2-2.
Well, I love how much work he's doing on the inside part to these right-handed hitters.
Could set him up for some good stuff away later on in the game. Looks like he wants a different pitch from Pudge. Ground ball for 2. Keppinger, Tejada, and Berkman. And Oswald is out of bases loaded, 1 out, troubled, just like 4-6-3. In the middle of the 4th inning, 2-0 Astros. Single season RBI list. Richie Sexton, Jeremy Burnett's 125. Congratulations go to Jim DeShays. And Coop, of course, probably knows the answer to that. He's watched his club build a 2-0 lead on a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning by Hunter Pence. Brewer MVP in 80, 83, and 85. He led the team in average 4 times. Franchise record 219 hits in 80 and a career .298 batting average with 1,125 runs batted in.
He's league in RBIs twice.
Ball 1 to Miguel Tejada. He popped first in the 2nd inning. Jeff Suppan from Oklahoma City Won 16 games in back-to-back years, 04 and 05 with the Cardinals. 2 balls, no strikes, but then he had his shot at free agency after pitching for a Cardinal club which went to the World Series in 06, and he chose Milwaukee and a 4-year deal. Had a rough outing in the division series last year in game number 4. Bounced behind third, but foul for Bill Hall. 2 balls and a strike. Suppan, a second-round pick by the Red Sox at 93. Then he was taken in the expansion draft by Arizona in 97. Moved along to Kansas City, Pittsburgh, traded to Boston, and then he had signed as a free agent with the Cardinals. So he is certainly one of the mainstays in this Milwaukee rotation, with Giovanni Gallardo having electric stuff. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Manny Parra pitches for them tomorrow night.
Yeah, they don't have, other than Gallardo, pitchers with top of the rotation stuff. They're getting solid work from all their starters, though. Looper's been solid. Bush has been good. Manny Parra struggled early, but he looks like he's turning it around a little bit.
Tejada takes the breaking pitch, and it's 3-2. A lot of Suppan's curveballs have been low tonight. What a pretty night. Colorado's bashing Atlanta 9-0 Rockies. Todd Helton hit his 5th home run. That one looks good to left center field. Ryan Braun turns and watches it. Bang above the yellow line for a Tejada long ball. Number 4 for Miggy. Having a powerful month of May. 3-0 Astros in the 4th.
That's precisely why a lot of the Suppan curveballs have been low tonight, because he doesn't want to leave it in the strike zone. He's trying to get hitters to expand and go out of the zone after that breaking pitch. And that's why the whole key for battling a guy like Jeff Suppan is stay patient. Force him into the strike zone.
That's a pretty shot. That sky beyond where the home run landed. Strike to Jeff Blum. Earlier Pence hit number 5. Now Tejada has chimed in with his 4th. Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Catches a corner. Miggy with 4 homers in his last 42 at bats. Really heating it up here.
Going to need to ice his shoulder. All those spotlights he's throwing around.
Blummer drew a walk on a 3-2 pitch earlier. Now taps it foul. The Astros have been out-homered this season, 41-34. But they have set about so far tonight to change things in that regard. Upstairs, and it's 1-2. Rockies have Aaron Cook on the mound. He is shutting out the Braves 9-0 in the 7th. Line drive left field, Braun over. 1 out. And it's Pudge Rodriguez. Chris Medlin started for the Braves, and he got battered around for 5 earned runs in 3 innings tonight.
That's nothing. Twins beat the White Sox 20-1 this afternoon.
20-1. No wonder Jake Peavy said he wasn't going to the White Sox.
Yeah, whoever gets Jake Peavy, if they do consummate a deal, it's going to cost a lot of money. He's owed a lot of money over the life of that contract, plus an option for $23 million for 2013.
Rodriguez to right field. Hart. 2 outs.
I don't think a lot of clubs are inclined to pony up that kind of money in this economy.
No. The Padres did make a trade today with the Brewers, sending Jody Garrett, a left-handed hitting outfielder, to Milwaukee. He'll join the club tomorrow, and they'll make a corresponding roster move to make room for him. Tony Gwynn Jr. is now a Padre. Roy Oswalt put down a sac bunt in the second inning. Gwynn had passed through waivers and was in the minors for the Brewers.
Chance to go back home, be closer to the fam. Tony Sr. coaching at San Diego State. Still does a few games, I think, on television for the Pods.
Yeah, he does. Fly ball, Ryan Braun. And in the fourth inning, Miguel Tejada works the count to 3-2. Gets a pitch up in his wheelhouse and hammers it. Run number 4. 24 runs batted in for him. 3-0 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by AT&T, by Heineken, by Dodge, and by Southwest Airlines. There's a view from left field as Roy Oswalt takes the mound for the fifth inning with a 3-0 lead. Jason Kendall to greet him. Kendall hit a fly ball to right on a 1-2 pitch in the second inning. Ball one upstairs with the pitcher Suppan on deck and Counsell due up third. It's a 1-1 count for Roy. He's made 25 starts against the Brewers. 21 of those have carried him at least through 6 innings. Toward left center field, Carlos Lee will not catch this one. That will one-hop the bullpen wall and stay on the warning track for Michael Bourne. Turn around second for Kendall. He's in with a double. That's his 4th of the year.
Roy got that big double play to get out of trouble in the 4th inning, and now the Brewers right back after him. Leadoff double here by Jason Kendall. Picked on a fastball and whacked it into that left center alley.
Now he's in scoring position after his 4th double, and Lance Berkman is in tight, looking for a bunt from Jeff Suppan, who struck out looking in the 3rd. Pitch is up for ball 1. Jeff Blum that time stayed back for a possible play at third base on Kendall. Popped up back over the screen, and it's 1 ball 1 strike to Suppan.
The Suppan has been a pretty good hitting pitcher over the years, and Brad Fisher going to have a chat with him. Maybe going to give him the option to swing here if he wants.
.176 with 1 homer for Jeff Suppan. Gets the bunt down. Oswalt will make a play at third. One with a tag on Kendall. They get him. Short throw takes care of out number 1.
This situation here where you don't want to be overly aggressive defending this bunt play, but if you've got an easy play, go ahead and take it. And the bunt is hard. Oswalt's on it in a hurry. Still some risk involved. If you make a bad throw there, you got a 3-0 lead. You have to make sure you get the out. He did everything just right. And now he's in real good shape.
Let's go to Bart now. Bart.
Hey, Brownie, we got our progressive fan of the game. But first of all, Ryan caught that monumental bat toss from Lance Berkman back in the bottom of the third. What was that like?
It was pretty cool. I basically just saw the bat coming at me, so I snagged it.
And you went down there and asked if you could have it back.
Well, they wanted the original bat back, so he gave me an extra.
Hold it up. Let folks see. So he walks away with that bat, which is pretty cool. Ryan, congratulations. That's a good get for you. But Ryan, unfortunately, has a bat, so he is not our progressive fan of the game. That would be the gentleman who took it off the shoulder, was it?
In the back, yeah.
In the back. He ends up with nothing, so he gets the progressive bag of stuff for our progressive fan of the game. Nice job. Of course, he won't remember that tomorrow because of his concussion, Brownie.
Well, you remind us of a game show host. Good job down there, Bart. Just walking around with that microphone.
It's like Monty Hall. Sir, you got a bobby pin in that bag? I'll give you $50.
I give you. Trade the bat for what's in the bag.
Oh, it's a Billy Goat.
No balls and 2 strikes.
And is that officially what it's called, by the way? The progressive bag of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a technical term that we don't throw around lightly.
Give me the bag of stuff or the bat.
It's got a year's supply of bit of honey in there, JD.
Ooh, man, I haven't had one of those in a long time.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Craig Counsell. Red Sox lead the Blue Jays 5-0, top of the 7th inning. And John Lester is in command of that game. Jason Bay hit his 13th homer.
Jason Bay is an amazing story because he played so well all those years in Pittsburgh and kind of flew underneath the radar. So as he goes to Boston, everybody said, well, he's finally going to get his due. He's kind of flying beneath the radar in Boston, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear a lot about him, but he's putting up huge numbers.
You're right. Big Papi finally hit his first home run of the year. You hear a whole lot about him in Boston.
Yeah, you hear more about what Papi's not doing than what Jason Bay is doing.
He's hit 13 bombs and gets very little attention.
I'm sure Big Papi would rather have everybody talking about Jason.
Single into center field for Counsell. Suppan to second base. And the Brewers continue to pepper Oswalt with hits. That's 7 now for them. J.J. Hardy will be next.
Counsell gets on top of that high fastball and hits it on a line. That's hard to do. Well, he's been a solid pro for a long time.
He sure has. Been there on a couple World Series winners. Hardy's 0 for 2 with ground out and strikeout. They strike 1 to him. Arizona leads Florida 4-3. Middle of the 8th inning in Florida. Chris Snyder hit another homer, number 4, and Mark Reynolds bashed number 12. Dan Uggla's coming out of his slump. He hit number 7 for the Fish. Line into center field. Suppan is to third base. Michael Bourne charging. The Brewers will hold him because it's the pitcher running and he's not fast, and they have the bases loaded and 1 out on a single by Hardy.
Well, see if Roy can pull another rabbit out of his hat. And the bases loaded in the 4th. Got the double play ball off the bat of Billy Hall. A little bit tougher challenge here with Ryan Braun coming up. Their best hitter. He's 2 for 2 tonight. That's a hanging slider that time to Hardy. Roy just falling off of it a little bit. That front shoulder flying open. And that slider will flatten out on you when that happens. This has kind of been the theme for Roy this year. You know, he's been such a good pitcher. And he's always been able to work his way out of most crisis situations. This year, a number of them have jumped up and bitten him.
Now he's really into it. 74 pitches. 3-0 lead, but Braun, who has tripled and singled, is the batter. And fielders on deck. One out in the inning. Roy escaping a bases loaded 1-out situation in the last inning with that double play ball off the bat of Bill Hall. Roller to Blum's left. Does he do it again? There's one, but safe at first as the run scores. Keppinger couldn't get his footwork right. And Braun will get the RBI, number 30 of the year. Suppan scoring on the force play from 5-4.
Didn't get the double play, but he got one more out with a very dangerous hitter in the box. Looked like it would be a double play. Braun runs well, though, and the ball wasn't that sharply hit. So you get Prince here, and that'll be okay.
Prince is 0 for 2. He struck out with a runner at third for the final out in the first inning. Popped short in the fourth. Brewers general manager Doug Melvin was talking before the game last night about all the walks Prince Fielder has drawn, 35 of them this year. He's on a club record pace. The Brewers are second in drawing walks in the league. Punches that one back foul for strike one, so they've really been getting on base.
Even if he hits Keppinger right in the letters, I don't think they're going to get the double play there. Throw sailed a little bit on him, and that upset the footwork of Keppinger some, but I think Braun was going to beat that even with a perfect feed from Blum.
He does run well. This one trickles up the line. Now the runner will break to second base, and Braun makes it there on a wild pitch that rolled away from Pudge Rodriguez. And the count's 1-1 now.
It's a little breaking ball in the dirt, and Pudge able to slide over and get in front of it, but can't corral it. And Braun able to get to second base, where he represents the tying run. Got a base open now, so you don't have to give in to Fielder here. Don't want to get too cautious. It's just the fifth inning.
Mike Cameron on deck. Those are the numbers on Fielder in these situations. It's 2-1.
That one had a little hair on it.
Yes, it did. He has established to these Brewer hitters that he's coming inside and hard. Fastball. He's gone from 96 to 66 in this game. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, that's the report on Zach Greinke of the Royals this year. He goes from 97 to 67 with his stuff.
Well, big pitch coming here, so Pudge and Roy want to talk it over. Make sure they're on the same page. Whatever pitch you decide to throw here, you don't want to be second guessing it. You want to make this pitch with conviction.
Pops it back, and it's still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, there are times in a game as a pitcher where a catcher will put a signal down, and you'll think, I'm really not sure what I want to do here, so I'll just throw that. This is a situation where you don't want to have that mindset. There's too much on the line now with the tying runners out there in scoring position. You want to make sure you're fully committed to the pitch.
To left field, Carlos Lee's waiting. And a nice job by the Wizard of limiting the Brewers in the 5th inning to 1 run on 3 hits. They strand a couple. It's 3-1 Houston.
Saturday, May 30th, participants will receive a race T-shirt, 2 free tickets to an Astros game, and so much more. This year's Race for the Pennant is presented by the Methodist Hospital in partnership with the JLH Foundation and endorsed by the Chevron Houston Marathon and Academy Sports and Outdoors. Proceeds benefit the Astros in Action Foundation. For more information or to sign up, Astros.com. Anytime you have a question that pertains to the Astros, that's a good place to start.
Sure is. Strike one to Michael Bourne. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Bill Hall on the grass at third base. Prince Fielder shortened up at first as Bourne leads off the home fifth. And looks at ball one for a 1-1 count. Michael, of course, led off the game last night. Got a hit, but that was nullified when the Astros were batting out of order.
You, sir, are out of order.
Fly ball left field. Ryan Braun on the run, 1 out.
This whole court is out of order.
That was the second time in Astros history they have batted out of order.
They're undefeated when that happens. I suggest they do it more often.
Yeah.
Alex Trevino.
Alex Trevino got a hit back in 1989 in the Astrodome against the St. Louis Cardinals. He was batting out of order. Rafael Ramirez was supposed to have been batting second in the first inning, and Trevino got a hit, and he lost it. And Ramirez was called out because of the out of order rule. Jeff Keppinger is 0 for 2 in this game. So Cecil Cooper has answered a lot of questions about that.
People are obsessed with this thing.
Yeah, they're all over it. Thanks to Stephen O'Brien for sending us some information about that game in '89 from Project Score Sheet. 0-2. And the Astros in '89 had lost 5 in a row. Art Howe was the manager. Decided a couple of hours before the game that the lineup he had made out would not be the one he would use in the game. Matt Galante changed the lineup in the dugout, but they failed to change the card they handed in to the umpires, so they batted out of order, and they won the game anyway. But Trevino lost a hit. And we went to him. The radio guys, Brett Dole and Dave Raymond and I, were in his booth tonight next door asking him about that game in '89. He said, I don't remember it.
20 years ago. I was there. I don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
You were there.
No, I have no memory of it. But Whitey Herzog was all over it. Keppinger strikes out. And strikeout number 2. Tonight's Jack in the Box standing shows you the top reliever ERA since LaTroy Hawkins came to the Astros last August. Arthur Rhodes number 1. Then it's K-Rod. LaTroy is at 1.43 since he joined the Astros. And Manny Del Carmen is 4th.
Well, LaTroy, his role more important now with Valverde expected to be out for at least another couple weeks.
Lance Berkman 0 for 1 with a walk. Looks at strike one. You know, the really odd thing about the game in '89 is that when Trevino got the hit, Ramirez was called out, and then Ramirez came up to bat, and he batted, and that shouldn't have been allowed. So the umpires messed that up, and Whitey Herzog came back out and said, no, he's not the batter. The number 3 batter should be up, Kevin Bass. So they had to go back and redo it. So, and Alex said, no, I don't recall that, but he said, I could use another hit.
Maybe get a lawyer and file an appeal. So Whitey thought it was a good idea to have KB up there instead of Rafi, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. We'd have to. So we promised Alex this long close-up shot tonight while he's working radio, and we're just going to make him sweat. You know how guys, when they're on camera, they have no idea what's being said about him. So he's going to have to sweat this one out. Bouncer into right field. Fielder didn't break for it, and Counsell couldn't get it. And Fielder threw his head back, and it's a single for Berkman.
Well, I think that ball, maybe Fielder thought with Berkman up there, Counsell playing the pull would be in position to make a play. Prince took a step in that direction, and I thought, no, that's going to be Counsell's ball. But Counsell not able to get there either. You see Prince starts and then heads back to first base, and Counsell not in position to make a play either. Would have been a tough play for Prince to make. The play he probably could have made.
Yeah. But just looking at that replay, Counsell looked a little flat-footed on that. Carlos Lee's 1 for 2. He singled and rode home on the Hunter Pence 2-run homer. There's ball one.
Vicente Padilla will go on the disabled list tomorrow with a strained shoulder. And that's what will allow Derek Holland to make his first major league start here tomorrow night. And they expect to activate Frank Francisco, their closer, who's been on the DL.
Well, the Rangers have hit hard, as we saw against the Astros in those games in the Silver Boot Series the last few years, but now they have much better pitching this year. So they're a formidable team coming in.
Well, Nolan's trying to change the culture up there, emphasizing starting pitching, working a little bit deeper in games. He's got his minor leaguers throwing live BP between starts. Doesn't buy into the 6 innings quality start philosophy. Not as obsessed with pitch counts as some other organizations, or most, just about all of baseball for that matter. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out in Arlington, and if there's a shift in the thinking in MLB.
Very much so. That's an intriguing club to watch this year for those reasons. Ground ball goes foul, 2-2, but Josh Hamilton, such a good player, has been banged up lately, and he had to sit out another game today on his 28th birthday. He's had some groin issues and banged up his ribs leaping into the wall to make a catch a few days ago. And he's a key player, and it's going to be fun to see the young shortstop Elvis Andrus.
How's he doing? He's having a pretty good year?
Pretty good. He's hitting better, I think, than a lot of people thought he would. And he makes some errors, but he gets to a lot of balls. And that move of Michael Young to third base has not affected Young's hitting. He's having a very good year. 3-2, 2 outs. Berkman will be leaving first base on the next pitch.
I can't consider a scenario that would affect Michael Young's hitting at first.
That's
all
true.
He does is hit. I mean,
he's a hitting machine. That's going to be a very, very interesting series starting tomorrow night at 7:05. Berkman takes off for second. Lee grounds one foul. These games are always fun. Big crowds. People really get into it. School's getting out about this time of year, so more people can bring the family out and enjoy a weekend series. The Astros will be going, of course, to Arlington in mid-June. Very attractive games for the fans. They're always on weekends, too. Suppan has thrown 88 pitches. 49 of them have been strikes. Nobody warming up in the bullpen. Berkman's going, and it's ball 4 to Lee. He takes his 12th walk of the year. It's number 4 of the night for Suppan. Now, the way the Brewers have been hitting tonight, the Astros would love to pull further ahead right here in the 5th inning with a big 2-out hit from Hunter Pence.
Yep, Suppan a little upset with himself, but I mean, that's just a good at-bat by Carlos Lee, fouling off a tough changeup and then disregarding that curveball that was out of the zone. I think as a pitcher with Suppan's stuff, against a guy like Lee, there are times when you just realize, I can't afford to throw one in there right now. I've got to hope he chases my pitch. And Carlos doesn't walk that much, so you can understand what Suppan was thinking, trying to get him to go after that low breaking pitch.
So having to work hard tonight. The Brewers, as you see Suppan with those crooked numbers, really battling. Brewers lost their first 4 series this year. They haven't lost a series since April 19th. Hunter Pence 2-run homer and a double play ball. With ball 1. So the Astros really knew coming into this week. They had 2 tough opponents, both in first place, the Brewers and the Rangers. The Brewers, as JD mentioned, with that 25-15 start, that ties their best ever through the first 40 games. They were also 25-15 in 07. Confident team right now. 1-1 to count. And the Brewers swept the Cardinals in St. Louis before they got here. Speaking of the Cardinals, they lead the Cubs 3-0 in the top of the 6th with Adam Wainwright holding the lead over Sean Marshall. Albert Pujols hit his 14th. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Brian Barton hit number 4. 1-2 to Hunter Pence. Dave Clark was talking during BP. He managed Hunter at AA Corpus Christi. Hunter hit third for him. Had an excellent year that year. Ripped into left field. Here's Berkman around third coming home. Ryan Braun's throw to the plate. And the tag is in time, and Berkman cannot believe the out call by Delphine Colon. And he's been thrown out of the game by Colon, and here's Cecil Cooper. Berkman was absolutely certain he scored on that hit by Pence, and instead it's out number 3 of the inning. And the score remains 3-1, and now Cooper's been tossed by Colon. Tempers are heated at home plate.
Well, let's take a look at it. Braun comes up with a big, strong throw. The question is to Jason Kendall, was he able to keep Lance off of home plate with that leg? See how Jason throws that left leg out there to block Berkman off of home plate. Boy, that's a tough call. You just can't tell whether the hand got that corner of home plate right there or not.
It looked like his hand touched the plate from that angle, but we'll see it again as we come back with a score 3-1 after 5. Houston. Fans are still booing that call at home plate. Lance Berkman has been tossed from the game. Darren Erstad is the first baseman. There's a foul ball from Mike Cameron. Strike 1 in the 6th inning.
It's a good job there by Jason Kendall of giving Lance the back corner of home plate. You got to give the base runner something to slide for. That way you don't take the big hit, and then you use the leg to try to keep the runner off the base while applying the tag.
Line drive hit to left field by Cameron. Cameron's 2 for 3. And the Brewers just keep ripping out base hits. That's 9 for them.
One more look at it here, and it's almost impossible to tell whether Lance's left hand got the plate or not. And I think if you're Delphine Colon, though, you've got to be a little more patient and let, in the heat of the moment, a bang bang play like that, I think you've got to let the player vent a little bit. And I thought that was a pretty quick hook by Colon. Had more issue with the ejection than the call.
Corey Hart, the batter. He's 2 for 2. Taking ball 1. Hart has singled to right and to left. So Ed Romero, the bench coach, is running the club in the absence of Cecil Cooper, and it's Darren Erstad at first base. 9 hits for the Brewers, 6 for the Astros in this 3-1 game in the 6th. Oswald has thrown 84 pitches. Flared to shallow right field. Keppinger on his way out and makes a basket catch on the run. Good play by Keppinger.
I'll tell you what, the ejections have gotten the crowd energized.
Yes, they have. Good play by Keppinger. Hunter Pence was trying to get there, but that looked like a base hit off the bat. Keppinger tracked it down for out number 1, and now it's Hall. Oswald struck out the side in the 3rd inning. And he struck out 5 in the game, but he needed a big double play ball in the 4th. That was provided off the bat of Hall. Hall is 0 for 2. Fouls it back, strike 1.
And then having to work out of 2 big jams, expend a lot of energy. The question is, how much does Roy have left in the tank? He's thrown 86 pitches, but a lot of them under duress here in the middle innings.
He could come up in the bottom of the inning. The Astros would need to put a man on base for that to happen. In the Brewers bullpen, big right-hander Seth McClung is getting loose. Curve comes in for strike 2 on Hall, and it's 0-2. Managers still venting their frustration at the umpire Colon.
Yeah, look at that guy behind home plate with the call. Do you think they're saying Cologne, you stink?
It might be. 1 and 2. Did you see the 2 guys that on the highlights a few nights ago showed up in the seats behind home plate with the umpiring masks on and chest protectors? 6 men left on for the Brewers. 5 have been stranded by the Astros. Strike 3, and Hall's having a rugged night. 2 strikeouts and a double play ball. That's strikeout number 6 for the Wizard.
And Billy Hall punched out 4 times last night. So let me see. Last night and tonight, 0 for 5 with 6 strikeouts. 0 for 7, 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts, a double play ball, and a pop up to second base.
Ouch.
Oof.
Jason Kendall doubled to left center field. He's 1 for 2. Jammed on this when he pops it up Keppinger's way. And in the 6th inning, no runs, a hit, and a man stranded. The Astros lead 3-1. It's the Coors Light 6th inning. Time now for the Coors Light freeze cam. Let's freeze this home run swing. Powerful Hunter Pence hitting that 3-1 pitch in the 2nd inning for a 2-run blast to left center field. Home run number 5. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brew at Coors Light. Hunter Pence in the new lineup batting 5th. Taking that one out. And then Miguel Tejada provided a solo shot in the 4th inning. It's 3-1 Houston. Jeff Suppan has survived thanks to that play at the plate on Lance Berkman. And now it's Miguel Tejada. Miggy 1 for 2. He popped up in the second inning before his home run swing in the fourth. Supan's been able to hang around. There's ball 1. He's due to lead off the seventh inning. Seth McClung was warming up a minute ago, so this would appear to be the final frame for Jeff. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans are all over every call Delphine Colon makes tonight now. 95 pitches for Suppan. Moves Cabrera back, and it's 2-1. Curtis Granderson and Clete Thomas homered in Detroit's win over Texas 4-3. Tigers getting a run in the bottom of the 8th, which proved to be the game winner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rangers managed only 7 runs in their 3 losses, and they have lost 11 games in a row at Detroit.
Do you know that Delphine Colon lives here in Houston?
No.
Yeah.
Foul back.
According to Wikipedia, or Baseball Reference, he does.
Okay.
From Puerto Rico, lives now in Houston.
Good spot for an umpire. Central traveling location, as much travel as they do.
Neighbors are going to be all over it tomorrow.
How long has he been in the league? Do we know?
Not long.
Tap foul. Still 2-2. Well, it's been an interesting night for Colognes because Bartolo was pitching for the White Sox in that 20-1 loss to the Twins.
Tough night for Colognes. Bartolo gave up 7 or 8. Only 1 earned, though.
To laugh at that White Sox highlight from last night's game. Jeff Cox, the third base coach, waving in Alexi Ramirez, the shortstop, on a single to left field. He was clearly waving Ramirez in. Ramirez slid into third base, and he got up and was able to score. Century figure for Suppan. 56 of them have been strikes. Paul's glove, and he tries a late throw, but not nearly in time. And Tejada has reached lead off the home 6th inning.
Gets it cleanly. He gets his man. Not an easy play, but a play a major league third baseman should make.
It's ruled a hit for Tejada, and Jeff Blum will be the batter. He's walked and lined to left. Quite a pace for Tejada in hits now. 52 hits this year. This is game number 39 for the Astros, so he's on a pace for over 200. But he'll have to sit out a few games. He hasn't rested any games at all this year. Strike 1 to Blum.
Yeah, Mickey had a real big first half last year. He was an all-star, you'll recall, and then scuffled in the second half of the season.
Double play set up for Harding and Counsell on the infield. Blum started the bat, checked his swing. No, on appeal. Eric Cooper says it was a swing, and it's 0-2. Jeff Blum, Michael Bourne, LaTroy Hawkins, and Russ Ortiz. Met with some kids today before the game. Crockett Elementary. The Buses for Baseball program. Some privileged kids from low-income families coming to the ballpark tonight. Line shot into center field. Well, Blum continues to rip the ball against Suppan. He now has 15 career hits and 28 at-bats. That wasn't his best hit bolt of recent weeks, but it counts as a hit to center field.
Yeah, a good solid 2-strike approach. Stay through the middle. An off-speed breaking pitch out away from him. Jeff Suppan scheduled to lead off in the top half of the 7th for the Brewers. I'm sure that's what Ken Mock is thinking, get him through this inning and then pinch hit for him. But at some point, yeah, you got to just disregard that and get a fresh arm in there.
Seth McClung, and it's a double switch. Another player coming off the bench at this same time. Looks like Craig Counsell's coming in. We'll tell you about that double switch. Hernan Itterbarren coming out to play the infield in this 3-1 game. Back in a moment. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Now the bullpen comes in for the Brewers. Right-hander Seth McClung. McClung and Hernan Itterbarren entering the game at the same time. Itterbarren at second base. And Craig Counsell has moved to third base. Bill Hall leaving the game. So the pitcher McClung is in the 7th spot in the lineup. Itterbarren batting 9th. McClung comes in for the 2nd straight night.
16th time overall, 0-1 with a 2.84 ERA. He's been able to pitch around some walks. He's issued 14 free passes in just 19 innings. Last night a spotless inning with a couple of punch-outs.
Comes in with runners at first and second, nobody out. Pudge Rodriguez the batter. Roy Oswalt on deck. Pudge singled to left and he hit a fly ball to right. Around a bunt and he fouls it. Strike one for Pudge. The Astros have lefty Tim Burdack in the bullpen. So perhaps if he had bunted and sacrificed, they would bring up a pinch hitter for Roy Oswalt.
And that has to be the thinking here. You wouldn't bunt with Pudge if you're going to have Roy take his at bat.
Total of 17 hits in the game, 4 walks, but only 4 runs have scored between these two clubs so far. The Brewers have stranded 7. The Astros have left 5. Each club has bounced into a double play. The Astros had a runner thrown out at the plate. So pitchers have been working from the stretch much of the evening. Counsell in tight at third. Pudge bunting in the air and over the screen for an 0-2 count. McClung is allowing only a .217 batting average this year. Last night he inherited a runner at second, gave up the RBI single to Wandy Rodriguez in the 6th inning, with a run being charged to Giovanni Gallardo. Barnes in right center. Bouncer to second base. Here Barnes steps on the bag, throws low to first. Prince Fielder there to take the one-hop throw. And Mike Riley said he had possession. And we'll see if anybody else gets tossed on that one. Apparently not, but you know they're yelling from that Houston bench over in Mike Riley's direction on that call on the 4-3 double play.
And Prince, I don't know if he got stepped on or twisted something, but gipping around out there. Here's the double play, 4 unassisted, and then the question is, does he have control in time? Mike Riley says yes, and he got stepped on. Yeah, he had it. Ouch. How many times you see that happen when you don't get the bunt down, you end up hitting in a double play?
Yeah.
Happens a bunch.
It does. Now Roy Oswalt.
Yeah, that's really peculiar that they would have Pudge bunting there.
It is.
Not pinch hitting for Roy.
Ball one. Roy with a sac bunt in second, then hit a fly ball in the fourth to left field. Trying to pick up his first RBI of the season with a 2-run lead. Brewers have 9 hits to the Astros 8.
Major League Baseball and People magazine are looking for individuals who have made a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com.
Roy Oswalt has a 2-0 count. Prince Fielder coming over to say something to set the clock.
My foot really hurts. Hurry up and end this inning. It's killing me.
Brewers have come from behind in 14 of their 25 wins this year. Chopped slowly. Counsell over. Makes the throw on the run to win the Astros 6. No runs, 2 hits, and a man stranded at third base after 6. 3-1 Houston. Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, by Nissan, by Kawasaki, and by TxDOT. Click it or ticket. Downtown buildings in Houston, and right here on the east side of downtown, it's a good ball game. It's 3-1. We've seen some emotions flare. Lance Berkman thrown out at the plate in the 5th inning, got tossed from the game by home plate umpire Delphine Colon, and then right on the heels of that, skipper Cecil Cooper was thrown out. And the Astros are frustrated in that 6th inning. They had runners at first and second, nobody out. Double play ball hit by Pudge Rodriguez, and Roy Oswalt grounded out. Jeff Suppan departed after 5 innings, allowing 8 hits, 3 runs, walking 4, fanning 2. He threw 104 pitches. 60 of them were strikes. Roy Oswalt begins the 7th inning now, and he's thrown 90 pitches so far. Hernan Iribarren leads it off. 308 at AAA Nashville. 1 homer, 19 runs batted in for the middle infielder, who's 24 years old. He had 14 at bats with the Brewers last season and hit .277 in Nashville last year with 30 runs batted in 361 at bats. He's from Venezuela. Now we have a delay out in center field. Michael Bourne retrieving something and throwing it over the fence. Iribarren signed as a free agent at 0-2. Had a couple of at bats last year against the Astros. Strike one for Roy Oswalt. Iribarren coming into the double switch is batting ninth. Will be followed by Counsell and Hardy. It's 1-1. Ricky Weeks having surgery and out for the season. That gave Iribarren a chance to join the club 2 days ago from Nashville. He opened the year there with a 10-game hitting streak. It's 2-1. Brewers very strong on the homegrown talent. Up the left field line, out of play for Carlos Lee. Will come over anyway for a look, but it's in the seats. Two balls, two strikes.
Cabot Woodstains brings you this legendary performance. Oh, this is a good one. 1981 first round, perhaps the best college pitching matchup ever. Ron Darling and Frank Viola each throw 11 shutout innings. Darling had a no-hitter for the longest time in that game. Viola and St. John's end up winning 1-0.
Curveball struck him out. That was a legendary collegiate game. That's 7 strikeouts for Roy.
Yeah, St. John's held hitless for 11 innings in that ball game.
Good time to break out Uncle Charlie. 7 strikeouts for Roy, and now it's Counsell. Counsell 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th inning. No walks for Oswalt. Comes back with a curveball, and there's strike 1. Of the 9 hits he's allowed, 7 have been singles. He gave up a Braun 2-out triple in the 1st and a leadoff double by Kendall in the 5th. Fans are really anti-Cologne tonight.
And Craig Counsell asking for timeout. Roy trying to quick pitch him, and Cologne gives it to him.
I kind of liked what the fans did on that. I thought that was too late to give the hitter time, and the pitcher's in his motion.
Yeah, I think he did it because he felt like Roy was trying to quick pitch him.
Okay. No balls, 2 strikes. Bounced up the first base line and foul. Phillies ripped Cincinnati 12-5 today at Great American Ballpark. It's a well coordinated outfit. Line to left field. Counsell drops a single in front of Carlos Lee. His 2nd hit of the night. What's on tap with the Astros is brought to you by Bud Light. It's Derek Holland, the lefty, who throws very well for the Rangers, making his first career start tomorrow night against Felipe Paulino, coming in for his 5th start. Saturday it's Scott Feldman and Brian Moeller. Sunday Brandon McCarthy and Mike Hampton. We'll have the Friday and Sunday games for you here on Fox Sports Houston. Channel 26 will carry the Saturday game as Paulino goes back to the mound. J.J. Hardy takes a strike. Hardy is 1 for 3. Astros and the Rangers. The battle for the silver boot. Caps, t-shirts, good baseball. Some superstar players on the field this weekend. That should be fun with Josh Hamilton coming in. Hopefully he'll be able to play.
Astro pitchers might differ with that opinion.
Oh yeah, I know they would. Strike, And it's 0-2. The paid attendance tonight is 25,037. Joe Blanton got the win for the Phillies today in their 12-5 victory at Cincinnati. Chase Utley hit number 11. Raul Ibanez number 15. Ryan Howard number 10. Greg Dobbs is first. 1-2.
So the Phillies signed Paul Bacco to a minor league contract.
Yeah.
Looking for a little veteran catching depth.
So he will presumably go to AAA.
Yeah, I think he's going to go to Florida first. I don't know, and kind of work his way into shape.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Down there at Clearwater.
He has not played a game in a while. J.J. Hardy's a .350 hitter this season here. And it's 2-2 to him. Shortstop with very good power.
Well, it will be interesting to see what the Brewers do with this this kid Escobar down on the farm, who's supposed to be just a tremendous defensive shortstop. They give him that position in the next year or two, trade J.J. Hardy, or if they lock Hardy up and go to plan B with Escobar.
They have some options. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They just signed Frank Catalanato, and he's going to AAA for them. Three balls, 2 strikes. With Counsell the runner at first and 1 out here in the 7th inning. Taps it foul. Note on Joey Votto. We were talking about him last night. He's been diagnosed with an inner ear infection. He'll work out with the team tomorrow, and he could return over the weekend, which would mean the Astros could see him next Monday through Wednesday at Cincinnati.
Man has been battling dizziness and still batting .360 plus.
Wonder what he'll do when he gets healthy. Inside ball 4 now. First and second for Ryan Braun with 1 out.
This date on Astros history is brought to you by the M.D. Anderson Cancer Center. And this date in 1965, Kibler did it again. That's John Kibler, the umpire, shown on the Astrodome, the scoreboard after Kib ejected an Astros coach for the second time in 2 days. That probably didn't play very well with the umpiring crew.
Well, it didn't play well, and Bill Giles got in trouble with his father, Warren, who happened to be president of the National League. And Bill Giles was responsible for putting up that message on the scoreboard, so Dad had a little talk with his son right after that.
Kibler did it again.
Pitching change here as Roy Oswalt comes out, 2 on, 1 out in the 7th inning. And there's the applause. And a 3-1 ball game. Our power play is brought to you by Reliant Energy. Roy Oswald with 7 strikeouts tonight. Really established the inside fastball early. Worked off that. Later on, more curveballs coming the Milwaukee Brewers' way. And Roy leaves after 6 1/3 innings, allowing 10 hits, walking 1, fanning 7. And Jeff Fulcino comes in, inheriting runners at first and second with 1 out here in the 7th inning, leading by 2.
And so Roy cannot lose this ball game, even if both those runners score. That would make it a tie game. He can win it, of course, if Fulcino is able to shut the Brewers down here. He's got a pretty tall task. Ryan Braun and then Prince Fielder due to hit. He worked game 1 of this series through 3 perfect innings. Used just 35 pitches to do it. 9 up, 9 down. A little different scenario here, though, working in the 7th, trying to protect the 2-run lead.
And Braun has a pair of hits tonight and an RBI. A triple, a single, then he bounced into a force play and got the run batted in the 5th inning. Fulcino gets strike 1. Fulcino really had his whole arsenal working in that stint Tuesday night, JD mentioned. 9 up, 9 down. Good split finger pitch that he was pleased with after that game. And he said he really needs that pitch to help him out with the fastball. Fastball in to Ryan Braun, makes it 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, it was a very effective pitch for him. And I don't know how much he'll use it with the right-handed hitters. It's good against the lefties. For the most part, since he's been called up, he's been primarily fastball slider. But I really like the action he had on his splitter the other night.
He had another 3-inning performance against Milwaukee here on the 24th of April. Gave up 1 run in that one. Braun is hitting the rib cage, and the bases are loaded now for Prince Fielder with 1 out.
Burdak.
So Braun takes his base. That's it for Fulcino. The lefty Burdak will come in to face Prince Fielder right after this. Please pocket.
My batting glove right now? Nothing. I don't even carry a wallet. I just carry my driver's license and my credit card and my money. That's it. That's all I got.
What do you need?
Yeah. Now he's ready to go back to work. Tim Burdak warming up. He'll come in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and Prince Fielder the batter. Lefty's 8 for 27 against Burdack for a .296 average, including 2 home runs this season.
Yeah, last year Tim very good at nullifying left-handed hitters. They had just 135 against him last year. And, Tim's problem has just been inactivity. He's only worked twice since May 10th.
Last outing Sunday in Chicago. Fielder attacks the first pitch, fouls it away, strike one. Fielder's 0 for 3 in this game. Burdack came in with a 4-3 lead in the 6th inning Sunday. Worked a hitless inning. Fielder has hit lefties very well, .289 with 3 homers. He started to swing, and then the appeal goes to third base. Check swing called by Eric Cooper. 1-1 to count. Burdack last year working 59 times, kept left-handers to a .135 batting average, second best in the league. All the way, it's a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, this is the 3rd time since the 4th inning that the Brewers have loaded the bases. Roy got out of it unscathed in the 4th. They pushed 1 across in the 5th. Brewers spent a lot of time in the red zone here tonight. Haven't been able to punch it into the end zone.
Chris Sampson's warming up for Houston. It's 2-2. Sampson got his 2nd save of the year last night. LaTroy Hawkins was warming up at the end of the game. Broken bat looper into shallow left field. That will fall in for a hit. Scoring 1, and now it's a 2-run single. And the Brewers get a hit from Fielder to tie it. 3-3. Fielder now has 39 runs batted in and connects with a broken bat.
Big man like that should be ashamed of himself. Taking that.
Takes a win away from Roy Oswalt.
Just like that. Boy, made a tough pitch. A slider off the plate, out away from him, and Prince just flicks it into left, breaks his bat. That's a killer.
And another no decision for the Wizard. Tim Burdack out of the game now. Chris Sampson is coming in to score. Brewers 3, Astros 3 in the 7th.
Continue to bat here in the top of the 7th. 3-3 is the score. Sunday, NASCAR on Fox heads to Charlotte, North Carolina, where Casey Kane will try to defend his title against a full field of stock cars. Best drivers. Coverage of Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte begins Sunday at 4 in high def on Fox. No, this copy used to read racing's best drivers, but now it says stock car racing's best drivers.
Does it?
Yeah. I think somebody feels like open wheel racing maybe has the best racers.
I wonder who that would be.
Somebody down there who would have influence over that copy, like the producer or something.
Ah, okay. Chris Sampson's in the game. Last night he got his second career save. Both have come in the last week. He has a 2.13 ERA. He has runners at first and second, one out, facing Mike Cameron. Cameron's 2 for 3. And there's strike one to Cameron. After the Brewers have tied it here in the 7th inning, scoring twice. They've out hit the Astros now 11-8.
It's another no decision for the Wizard.
There's only 3 decisions in 10 starts this year. 6 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs allowed, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. It's 1-1. Corey Hart on deck. Jeff Suppan getting off the hook now, after he gave up 8 hits and 3 runs in 5 innings plus. Strike makes it 1-2. And Sampson talked about how his heart was really pumping on Sunday when he came in with a 6-3 lead in the 8th inning, 2 men on base, and got a 5-out save. The Astros wanted 6-5, and then last night he came in 6-1 lead in the 9th inning, bases loaded, gave up a 2-run double to Matt Gamble. Wound up not allowing a run himself and getting save number 2 in 1 inning of work. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Troy Hawkins has now healed his hip, so he's ready for duty, but it's the 7th inning, and that's early for him. Off the end of the bat, it's popped up. Karen Erstad comes in and takes over. Into a fly called. 2 outs.
Infield fly rule, less than 2 outs, runners on first and second or bases loaded. If fair, umpire will rule. Infield fly rule is in effect. Base runners may advance at their own peril.
That's an important part of that rule. Sometimes people forget about that. Carlos Villanueva's warming up for the Brewers, who have Corey Hart batting. He's 2 for 3. They can take off after the ball's caught, or
the batter's out, so the force is no longer in order. But sometimes base runners forget that if the ball's dropped, they think they have to go.
Line shot right field. That's a fair ball. It kicks out toward Hunter Pence. That'll score the go-ahead run, and the Brewers lead it 4-3 on a double by Corey Hart. Braun coming home with the go-ahead run. Hart getting RBI number 18 with his 3rd hit of the night. And he's throwing a spotlight over
a little take that, Miggy spotlight. The Brewers probably not big fans of the spotlights Miggy's been throwing around out there, so they're going to give him a little something back.
Now it's Matt Gamble pinch hitting for Seth McClung. And he'll be walked intentionally to load the bases with Jason Kendall on deck. So a broken bat 2-run single by Fielder ties it. Hart chalks the right field line for the go-ahead double, and the Brewers have 12 hits.
We talked about all those trips inside the red zone. They finally pushed through. And boy, it's a talented lineup. It's a tough lineup to work your way through. A lot of dangerous hitters.
It'll be Kendall batting, and once again, the Brewers have a bases loaded opportunity. Gamble came through with the 2-run pinch double last night in the 9th inning off Sampson. So this time he's at first base, and it's Kendall instead. Setting up a force at any base. Kendall 1 for 3, a double to left center in the 5th. Seth McClung worked 1 hitless inning with no walks or strikeouts, and he can be the winning pitcher now. Kendall's the 9th Brewer to bat here in the 7th. Strike for Sampson. Tampa Bay beat Oakland today 6-5. Ground ball to shortstop. Tejada to second, and just in time for the force. That was close as they force the runner Gamble at second base. But in the 7th inning, it's a 3-run frame on 3 hits, and it's 4-3 Milwaukee. What a battle tonight. Here's the game summary, and it's brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, showing you that Lance Berkman and Cecil Cooper were ejected in the 5th inning after Berkman was called out at the plate on a close play by the home plate umpire Delphine Colon. Cooper was ejected for arguing that call. Hunter Pence hit a homer in the 2nd off Jeff Suppan to make it 2-0. Corey Hart, though, has responded with a big night, going 3 for 4, and his RBI double in the 7th inning has given the Brewers their first lead of 4-3. Fielder had tied it with a broken bat 2-strike single in the 7th inning, driving in a couple. Roy Oswalt with another no decision ties his season high in strikeouts with 7. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning now. Top of the order against Carlos Villanueva, pitcher number 3 in the game for the Brewers. And it's Michael Bourne to greet him. Michael 0 for 2 with a walk. Jeff Keppinger on deck. Darren Erstad due up third.
The Astros not able to make anything out of that 2-on nobody out situation in the 6th inning. That fizzled in a hurry. Now have to get something going against Villanueva.
Showing bunt.
He's a relief pitcher who pitches like a starter. Got all 4 of your basic pitches. We talk so much about relief pitchers simplifying their approach, relying on 1 or 2 pitches. But Villanueva, guy, showed a little this, little that. Decent heater, good changeup, good breaking stuff.
Down to the 2nd. Iribarren over to 1st. 1 out. And that's what he displayed Tuesday night in his 1 hitless inning. He got a hold in the 4-2 win for the Brewers. He pitched the 7th. Jeff Keppinger's 0 for 3. Darren Erstad on deck as the Astros bat here in the 7th inning, and the Astros have lefty Wesley Wright in the bullpen. Our Firestone in-game box score will show you the story of the Astros hitters.
And the Brewers have Trevor Hoffman in their bullpen, and he's been absolutely brilliant so far this year since coming back from injury.
One ball, 1 strike. The Astros have not won a game all year when they've trailed after 7 innings. Now batting in the bottom of the 7th, trying to put on a surge here with the bats. Been out hit 12-8. 1-2. And Wade has been called on for 3 saves before Trevor Hoffman got back into that closing role. Last year, Carlos started in the rotation. He was 2-5 with a 6.43 ERA. And he spins up a curve and gets a strikeout on Keppinger.
A tough night for Jeff. He hasn't had many at-bats lately. 0 for 4 with a couple of punch-outs. A little anxious there. Chasing that 2-strike breaking ball. Brewers 3.49 relief ERA, second best in the National League to the New York Mets. Don't despair. Hang in there.
He's hanging in. Darren Erstad would try to get a 2-out rally started. Bouncing for ball 1 in his first at bat. He came in for Lance Berkman when Lance was ejected. Darren up for the first time now. And he too has not had a whole lot of playing time lately. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter in the Tuesday night game. He's had 43 at bats. Changeup comes in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and I think this would be a tough guy that when you're not getting a lot of at-bats, you probably would rather come in and face a late-inning guy who's just blowing fastballs. And at least you just try to see if you get the head out on a 95-mile-an-hour heater. This guy you kind of have to guess along with. And he's got real good off-speed stuff.
1 ball, 2 strikes. In addition to that fine ERA, the Brewer relievers have 8 wins and 4 losses. Ben Zobrist tied the game with a 2-run homer in the 9th today for the Rays. Carl Crawford won it with an RBI single.
Swing and run.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
The 3-run inning in the top by the Brewers have kind of sucked the life out of the crowd. The fans were really into it after those ejections. And the 3-run inning, the fact that it took more than a half an hour to play, probably took some of the life out of them too. You need a big blow here to get the fans back into it.
Yeah, Brewers batted around. Now Darren Erstad has worked the count back full. What are the chances he will see a fastball here?
47%.
Not good enough to sit on one then.
No, you're right. He really likes his changeup.
He got a strikeout, and that's a 1-2-3-7 for Villanueva. After 7, 4-3 Brewers.
Help us pick the best moment in our 10-year bracket challenge. It's 10 years here at Minute Maid Park. Go to Astros.com, cast your vote today. Pick the top moment in the long and glorious history of this fine ballpark.
4-3 lead for the Brewers. Hitter Byron leads it off in the 8th inning against Wesley Wright and tries to bunt his way on. Fouls it for strike one. He struck out in the 7th inning, but then 8 more Brewers came to the plate as they scored 3 to grab the lead. Chris Sampson worked 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 1 hit, no runs, had 1 walk. It was intentional, and no strikeouts. Tim Burdack, no innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs allowed. Jeff Fulcino, no innings, no hits, and 1 run. And a hit batter. No balls and 2 strikes. Lefties 9 for 19 against Wesley Wright.
Wesley with a 771 earned run average. He's worked just 11 2/3 innings so far this year. 17 appearances. He's allowed 20 hits.
1-2. Alberto Arias is warming up for the Astros, who have Lee, Pence, and Tejada due up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Giants and Padres underway at San Diego. No score. Bottom of the first. Tim Lincecum going for San Francisco. It's 2-2. So the Padres are really into a dilemma as far as Jake Peavy is concerned. He has the right of approval to any trade by contract, and did not approve the trade to the White Sox today, which would have brought reportedly young pitching prospects in return had he agreed to the deal. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Wright.
Two ABs, 2 punch outs for Irabarren. Good slider there from Wesley, perfectly placed off the outside edge. Yeah, Jake Peavy has a no trade contract through 2010, and then it's a limited no trade from 2010 through 2012, or for 11 and 12, I guess.
Greg Counsell's 2 for 4 tonight. He was a part of that go-ahead rally in the 7th inning.
Jake only making $8 million this year.
What does it go up to in the future? Do you have the breakdown on
15, 16, and 17 in years 2010 through 12. A $22 million option for 2013 with a $4 million buyout.
Pretty steep. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He gets private use of the island of Catalina. His family gets to enjoy the San Diego Zoo once a week, but no other patrons there.
It's quite a deal.
And when playing golf with his teammates, any putt within 9 feet is given. That's a pretty sweet deal. I don't know if the White Sox. That last one might be the deal breaker. I don't know if the White Sox would buy into that one.
No, they'd never go for that. Well, according to one report today on television, he had called Scott Linebrink, who's in the White Sox bullpen, talked with him about the deal. Linebrink gave a very favorable report about. Apparently, Jake, according to this report, had some concerns about the home runs that have been allowed at U.S. Cellular, and also playing for Ozzie Guillen. Got some favorable reports on both counts from Linebrink.
Well, I'd love to play for Ozzie.
Would you?
Oh, absolutely.
In your face?
He's only in your face if you're.
Yeah.
I think if you play hard, you do the right things, he's not in your face.
A hit in front of Carlos Lee. Got a really good jump on it, but Counsell drops it in for his 3rd hit of the night.
I think there'd be a lot of comic relief.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's also the kind of guy that if he gets in your face, you can get right back in his face.
Yeah.
And it's not personal.
Well, there's no mystery about the man.
Yeah. He's an open book.
He is transparent. Counsell on, and what a game for him. 3 singles. Now Ed Romero's coming out. He's had Arias warming up, and right-handed hitting Hardy and Braun due up next in the 8th inning with a score: Milwaukee 4, Houston 3.
Alberto Arias in to pitch. Follow the Astros on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com. It's At Bat 2009. It features play-by-play video highlights, live audio broadcast. You can find it at Astros.com. You can find it on your iPhone or on your iPod Touch. And don't forget, All-Star voting has begun. Vote Astros. Vote often.
JD, you like your shower curtain?
See our set back here?
Yeah.
Reminds me of when Kramer had the set from the Merv Griffin show and he set it up in his apartment. What do we got back here tonight?
Alberto Arias comes in, 4-3 Milwaukee. Runner at first, 1 out, 8th inning. He has no decisions and a 5.87 ERA, which increased by quite a bit last night when he gave up 3 runs in 1 inning. And all those 3 runners scored after he left the bases loaded.
This era of specialization is really on display here tonight as the Astros, if you consider the last out Roy got, they've used 5 pitchers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers to get 4 outs. There'll be 6 pitchers to get however many outs, depending on how Alberto does. And the problem is, and you know, they're getting the platoon advantage with all these left-right switches. But if you end up tying the game and get into a prolonged extra inning thing, you're running out of bullets in a hurry here.
Mm-hmm. No balls, 2 strikes with Braun on deck. Hardy swings and wildly missed that one by a foot and struck out for out number 2.
Alberto can make you look bad with that breaking pitch. And he flies open every now and then and will leave it up. But when he keeps that front shoulder closed and gets on top of that breaking pitch, he's got a really good one. Sharp, late breaking curveball will induce some silly swings.
He came in last night and had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Then he gave up 2 hits and a walk to open the 9th and left, and all 3 of those runs scored and were charged to him. But he got Braun on a grounder to third last night in the 8th inning, coming into the 6-1 lead. Little dribbler. Arias over. Throws him out. No runs, a hit, a man left. Middle of the 8th inning, Milwaukee 4, Houston 3.
Four to 3 this week on Fox Saturday Baseball. Winter League play is in full swing. Ian Kinsler and the hard-hitting Rangers come to Houston to take on the Stros in the battle for the boot, the Lone Star Series on Fox. Saturday Baseball, 3 p.m. You won't want to miss it. Brownie and I, however, will miss it.
Todd Coffey comes in. with a 1-run lead. It's 4-3, and he's done well in these situations this year, JD.
Yeah, Big Todd Coffey back to throwing that power sinker. We saw him light up the radar gun here the other night. He's working for the 19th time. ERA of 3.10, 14 punch-outs, just 4 walks in 20 and a third innings. Allowed the 1 long ball.
Well, we wondered as he was throwing the ball very hard Tuesday night if he's picked up miles per hour since last year. Bill Schroeder, who does the Brewers television as their fine analyst next door, said yes, he is throwing harder this year. Faces Carlos Lee, who has singled and walked tonight and scored a run. And Hunter Pence and Miguel Tejada in the Astros' 8th inning. That's a slider up, and it's ball 1 to Carlos Lee. Good job by Carlos Villanueva with a 1-2-3 seventh with 2 strikeouts. Seth McClung faced 2 batters and got 3 outs in the 6th inning. The bullpen core has been spotless tonight for Milwaukee. Bouncer third, backhanded, Counsell. 1 out.
That time the Brewers guarding the line here in the late innings with a 1-run lead pays off. Counsell right there.
Hunter Pence ripped a 2-run homer. Just to the left of straightaway center in the 2nd inning and singled to left in the 5th. He's 2 for 3.
Counsell just having to take about a half a step to field that ground ball. Normal third base positioning. Maybe that's a double down the line.
Yeah. Coffey, who's had his problems against the Astros in his career, facing Pence here. There's strike 1. There's the slider over the inside corner to Pence. Hunter up to 350 with 2 hits tonight. Started the night at 343. Catches the corner there, and it's 0-2. A 28-year-old right-hander from Forest City, North Carolina. He got a blown save here on the 25th of April. In his career, he's 1-2 with an 8.53 ERA against the Astros. They scored 3 runs off him in 1 inning in that game in April here. But Tuesday night, we did a job, and Hunter Pence got the only hit off him, an infield hit. Coffey's gone back to throwing that very good sinker more often this year than he had in the past, Bill Schroeder says. He's entered 3 times with the bases loaded, and all 9 of those inherited runners have been stranded this year. It's 2-2. Trevor Hoffman has returned to his top form. He has been nearly perfect for the Brewers. He's coming back from his injury. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Living with the slider here with Hunter, and boy, it'd be hard for Hunter to pull the trigger if he came with that 95-mile-an-hour heater here. You just have to assume he's going to throw sliders, so nothing but.
And foul. Hunter 1 for 7 in his career against Coffey with 3 punch-outs. Guys aren't giving up yet. See Raleigh here with 1 out in the 8th inning. Coffey was claimed on waivers last year by the Brewers in Cincinnati. Down to the 2nd, Irvine over the first, 2 outs. Now Miguel Tejada, he homered in the 4th, got an infield hit in the 6th, 2 for 3 tonight. Coffey was a 41st round draft choice by the Reds at 98. Fourth man in the setup scheme of things for the Brewers. And they have a lead after 7 innings. Their record is 20-2 this year. Tejada takes ball 1. Jeff Blum is on deck. The Brewers have Fielder, Cameron, and Hart due up in the 9th. Rubber game with a 3-game series tonight. Bouncer, broken bat up the middle. Hardy plays it from behind second and makes it a 1-2-3, 3 ground ball out. Inning for Coffey. Headed to the 9th inning, 4-3 Brewers. The Astros had a 3-0 lead going to the top of the 5th inning, and then things began to turn. Take a look at the 5th inning. Hunter Pence hit the 2-run homer earlier and then got this single, and the play at the plate. Lance Berkman is called out by Delphine Colon. The Astros would have led 4-1 had he been ruled to have scored that run, and then the inning could have become much bigger, but not only was Berkman tossed, but Cecil Cooper was thrown out.
And we had a number of looks at that replay, and really hard to tell one way or the other on Lance at home plate. Tough call for the umpire, but what bothered me more than anything was how quickly he gave Lance the heave ho.
Now LaTroy Hawkins comes in. Pitcher number 7 for the Astros. And it's Prince Fielder to greet him here in the 9th inning. Fielder had the broken bat 2-run single to left in the 7th inning off Tim Burdack. That one tied at 3-3. There's strike 1. Alberto Arias worked 2/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs with no walks and 1 strikeout. Wesley Wright went 1/3 of an inning. He gave up 1 hit, no runs with no walks and 1 strikeout. Hawkins delivers, and it's strike 2. Hawkins hurt his hip over the weekend in Chicago, backing up home plate on Saturday on that game-winning hit by Soriano. He's 5 for 7 in saves. 19th appearance ties him for 6th in the majors, and he has a 2.70 earned run average.
This is LaTroy's first appearance since that game in Chicago. All systems go with that hip now.
Smack to shortstop. Tejada throws from the grass. Low throw. Good play by Darren Erstad. 1 out.
Ball really sharply hit, knocks Miggy back onto his heels, and he doesn't really get a whole lot on that throw. See after the play, acknowledging Darren Erstad, saying, "Thanks for picking me up, buddy."
Mike Cameron's 2 for 4 tonight. Brewers have out hit the Astros 13-8. Brewers have strained at 11 to the Astros 6 left on base. Tap foul for strike 1. Hawkins was warming up last night when Chris Sampson got the final out in the ball game. Milwaukee trying to bounce back after trailing 3-0 and take this series 2-1. The Astros will have their 7, 8, 9 hitters due up in the bottom of the ninth. Blum, Rodriguez, and the pitcher's spot. The tap goes foul, and it's 0-2. Trevor Hoffman's warming up. He's the all-time career save leader with 564. He's putting a lot of distance between himself and Mariano Rivera now. The Astros have emptied the bullpen tonight. Russ Ortiz, of course, still available. One ball, 2 strikes, and Mike Hampton will be able to take his start. The thumb injury with a cut on his left thumb will be healed. The Astros announcing tonight so he can pitch Sunday against Brandon McCarthy here at 105. So that frees up Ortiz for bullpen activity, of course, again. It's 2-2 for Hawkins. In Hawkins' career, he's 3-4 against this Milwaukee team with a 3.60 ERA.
So Hawkins scheduled to bat third in the bottom half of the ninth. So you've got a hit for him.
Struck him out.
And should you tie the game in the bottom of the ninth, so it's Russ Ortiz against the world at that point.
Yeah.
He's stretched out.
Yeah, he is. So Russ would be the guy. He pitched a couple of innings Tuesday night in relief.
Probably get an inning out of Suba.
He's always good for one. Corey Hart is 3 for 4. He has the go-ahead hit, the double on the right field line in the 7th inning. He bunted it that one. What? You got to be kidding, Mike Riley. All right, it's ball 1. I thought he jabbed at this one, JD.
He showed bunt.
Jabbed at it.
He kind of pulled it back after the fact.
That's a strange call. One ball and 1 strike. Cardinals beat the Cubs 3-1, getting a home run from Albert Pujols, his 14th, and another from Brian Barton, number 4. Adam Wainwright going to 4-2 with a win over Sean Marshall. He's 2-3, and Ryan Franklin got save number 11.
It's 3 in a row they've taken from the Cubs.
Yeah,
Cubs haven't scored at all in that series. Things starting to look a little bit better in Birdland. It scuffled for a while. They got Chris Carpenter back. He gave him 5 scoreless last night. So this sporting news survey that came out, ranked the top 50 players in the game. Albert Pujols came in as number 1. That's not really a big surprise. What was a big surprise is that Derek Jeter was in the top 10.
Yeah, that is a big surprise.
And Mariano Rivera. There's a New York bias to that poll.
Oh, you know it. Were you a voter in that poll?
I was.
And you know the makeup of the voters?
Oh, there's a whole big list of a number of analysts, a bunch of Hall of Famers, ex-players. It was a pretty big group. And what they did is they just sent sheets out with a whole bunch of names, and they asked you to check. I can't remember the number, 10, 15, 20, whatever it was. And they compiled it from there. And you could also write in guys if they weren't on that list.
Here's the go-ahead hit in the 7th inning from Corey Hart.
Line drive right down the right field line, fair by inches. And times they're showing the spotlight. The one that really breaks your heart is the fielder one, because it's such a weak hit. It's a blooper off the end of the bat. A couple batters before.
Now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros will have switch hitting Kazuo Matsui, lefty hitting Jason Smith, available for pinch hitting for LaTroy Hawkins here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Also, Humberto Quintero and Jason Michaels have not been used from the right side. 2-2 pitch coming from LaTroy Hawkins. And he gets a strikeout on hard. As a 1-2-3 ninth, now the Astros come up in the bottom of the 9th. Inning 1 to tie, 2 to win, trailing 4-3. On Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your Texas Ford dealers, by the Progressive Insurance Group, and by Bud Select. A 1-run lead. Trevor Hoffman on the mound. The all-time save leader comes in Minute Maid Park with a score of 4-3 Brewers. The Brewers have out hit the Astros 13-8. No errors tonight. Hoffman has returned from an injury, and he has been spectacular. 10 for 10 in saves, an ERA of 0, 11 innings. You see the strikeout to walk ratio, ridiculous, 9-0. JD.
Yeah, he hasn't walked anybody and only allowed a couple of base hits. So he's got that low batting average against. 11 innings, 3 hits, no walks.
He's faced only 2 over the minimum in his 11 appearances this year. And it'll be Jeff Blum leading it off. Blum 1 for 2 with a walk. Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Then the pitcher spot is due up third. Russ Ortiz beginning to get loose in the Astros bullpen. He's the only reliever who has not been used. Hoffman delivers, and it's ball 1. Hoffman with the outstanding changeup. Also spots his fastball very well. He made quick work of the Astros in a 1-2-3 ninth inning and getting his most recent save Tuesday night when Milwaukee won it 4-2. Ripped up the right field line to foul.
Yeah, he got 3 outs on 8 pitches. The other night, the Astros' first 2 went up hacking. First 2 outs were made on 2 pitches. I think that's a strategy a lot of hitters take against Hoffman. They look to hit that first good fastball they see for fear of getting behind and having to deal with that changeup. That's not to say he won't throw the changeup when he's behind on the count. He'll throw it on any count.
Two and one. It's that good a pitch. He has such outstanding command of it. He was hurt in spring training, opened the season on the disabled list. One fouls it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's a bit of an oddity, you know, obviously the all-time saves leader, but most guys that do his job do it with power, and he's done it with that changeup for so many years. I think that really serves him well, too, in these late-game tight situations where hitters are a little jumpy.
That could be in for a hit in left field. Braun comes over and loops in for a single for Blum, who takes the turn, and there's a start for the Astros in the home ninth inning. Blum had been 0 for 3 in his career against Hoffman. And he'll lead for a pinch runner, Jason Smith.
Kind of like the Prince Fielder base hit.
Hit number 9 for the Astros. Jason Smith pinch runs for Jeff Blum. Pudge Rodriguez the batter. He's 1 for 3. Pudge has only a sacrifice fly, the only time he has faced Hoffman until Tuesday night, and then he hit a line drive to right field. Check his swing on appeal to Mike Riley, and there's ball 1.
Astros were bunting with Pudge back in the 6th with first and second and nobody out. Here they opt not to sacrifice.
Jason Michaels is on deck, and Hawkins spot duo.
I think the Astros are thrilled with the proposition of a tie, having gone through the bullpen the way they have. So instead of bunting a man over, playing for 1 run, they're looking to win this game here in the bottom of the 9th. Brewers bullpen is stressed too, and Marcus made liberal use of that pen. He's got a few more bullets out there though. He's got a couple of righties, Julio and DeFelice, and the lefty Stetter.
Center field, that's in for a hit. Cameron tried to put on a decoy. Smith to second base. Back-to-back singles by Blum and Rodriguez. And now it's going to be Matsui in a bunting situation rather than Michaels, who was on deck to pinch hit for Hawkins.
A successful bunt here. Puts runners on second and third. It would force the Brewers to pull the infield in, you would think. Maybe not. See how they play it if Kaz gets the bunt down. It's a high risk either way. Pull the infield in, and the next hitter squirts run through. The winning run could score, but typically when you've got your closer on the mound, you're thinking we're going to do everything possible to prevent that tying run from scoring. Putting the cart ahead of the horse here a little bit. We can wait and see if Matsui can get the bunt down.
Matsui has 3 sacrifice bunts. That's tied for the club lead. That one foul up the third base line. Right going to Matsui.
Jason Kendall pretty much coming out of his crouch as that pitch was hitting the home plate, and he was ready to pounce.
Matsui made the final out of the game off Hoffman Tuesday night with a fly ball to left field. He's 1 for 5 in his career against Trevor. Trevor now 41. This bunt brings Kendall over. He throws to third, gets the force play there on Smith. Kendall was quick and makes the 2-5 force for out number 1.
Boy, nice to have an athletic catcher like Kendall behind the dish. That's the whole theory here for the bunters. Push it out, make that third baseman come in and handle the ball and open up third base for the lead runner. Counsell holds his ground and relies on Kendall, who comes flying out of there. Man, that's a great play.
That was.
That's a big-time play.
Like a third baseman coming in. Just got him, too. He had to make that throw on the run. Couldn't really plant. Michael Bourne 0 for 3 with a walk. Looks at strike 1. Michael's 1 for 2 against Hoffman in his career. Lance Berkman hit a game-winning 3-run homer off Hoffman last year in San Diego.
Usually a bunter is trying to deaden the ball, but in that instance you can go ahead and you can bunt it fairly hard if you can direct it towards the third baseman. Just have him force him to abandon ship to come in and make that play.
1-2 to Bourne. Keppinger's on deck. Brewers have not lost a series in a month. Bourne swings and misses, and that's out number 2 for Trevor Hoffman. Now it'll be Keppinger batting. Keppinger's 0 for 4 tonight.
Too good of a hitter to go 0 for 5.
Yeah. He's never faced Hoffman. Bud Rodriguez, the runner at second. Kazuo Matsui on at first. There have been 23 hits in this game, 13 by the Brewers. Foul away, strike one with Darren Erstad on deck. Keppinger had the game winner in the 10th inning in game 2 of the season, beating the Chicago Cubs on a broken bat hit to left field. Misses, and it goes to 1-1. Interleague play next for both of these clubs. The Astros here against the Rangers, the Brewers in Minnesota. Strike, and it's 1-2 to Keppinger. Throwing 17 pitches, 12 have been strikes.
The hitter's so worried about the changeup, he's able to get away with 85-mile-an-hour fastballs right down the middle.
Cameron's in right center. It's 2-2 to Keppinger. Coming into this game, Keppinger had walked 6 times. He had fanned only twice. He struck out in the 5th and 7th innings tonight. Fans want to see a big delivery here from Keppinger. Ground ball to shortstop. Hardy tossing to Iribarren for the force play, and the Brewers have rescued this series coming from behind. They trailed 3-0. They won it 4-3. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for the Astros in the 9th inning. The next Astros telecast comes your way.